We've got one other topic that we need to cover, and I don't mind one-word answers here, and I'll probably volunteer my first. My friend Prakash, who runs the wonderful Yeti Curry House in Oxford, we visit him every day, and he visited us every day when it was COVID. He's fantastic, but his relative has just lost £47,000 to a scammer because it's from a business account, and he did what's called an authorized push payment. So he was scammed. He was convinced he was settling some big business contract bill, and so he's voluntarily been involved in pushing the money out of his account. Prakash wrote to me, I didn't know you were in scams and fraud and doing all of this. What can my cousin do about it? I haven't told him yet, but my answer is nothing at all. I wondered if you had any thoughts on that.
Ooh, and in terms of getting the money back, or specifically getting the money back, yeah, I think that's so hard. It's one of the most disheartening parts of my job, is telling people every day that I can't get your money back. Preventing it again, I think there's ways, or like perhaps going after that scam. Like, we could go after that scammer together and now get their bank accounts and their information and make it so no one else can fall for that. But yeah, getting the money back, I mean, there are some movements in the UK, aren't there, Emily, for consumers? There's the payment systems regulator, which is reimbursing you up to £85,000 if you are a consumer, but it's hitting business. And these are small businesses.
Sometimes small businesses and consumers are not so different in terms of their resources, and often they are a one-man band. So the protection, you're right to mention the protections for consumers, and they won't replace your house if you happen to be giving away on that scale, but for more manageable losses. But for small businesses, it's really, I was just listening to this and thinking, I haven't got a hopeful story, but I like the idea of taking the story on, Kit, and scamming them back.
So
maybe we could do that.
One last thing that we always have is the comment of the week. Do we have a comment of the week? That's from last week.
We certainly do.
This is our voice of God. This is Charlie, our voice of God.
Hello. Hello, and welcome to the show, KITBOGA. So we have two comments this week. We've got Martin on TikTok Live, we're streaming live on TikTok, guys, asks, this is to you, KITBOGA, how do you think AI will impact scammers and scam baiters?
And that's Martin, is it?
That's Martin on TikTok Live.
From Martin.
Thank you, Martin.
Kit, do you want to respond to Martin's question?
Sure. I mean, from the scam baiter side, like, we've been, I just announced yesterday, actually, that I am dispatching an army of clones. So I've been working on training off of all my data and my voices. We have bots that can now call scammers and waste their time. So I think that's going to be huge. And then on the scammer side, I think it's what I was referring to, things like the undressing types of models, the deep fake models, voice cloning. Like, we're already seeing that happen. Especially you guys earlier, we were talking about the romance scams. I see people every week now who think they're actually talking to Brad Pitt because they see the face and they see hear the voice. So I think that's what scammers are going to be doing.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
That's a wonderful answer.
And what's the next question?
Just talking of voices, do you have your voice changing software there? Can you give us an example of the voice changing?
Yeah, I can do, well, some of it I just do like this. Like, I just change my voice anyway. But
I can pitch shift it higher and then maybe sound a little bit more like a grandmother.
But yeah, I remember the first time some of it is just I do an accent or something.
Yeah.
And I remember my father saying, what voice changer do you use to do the accent?
It's acting. It's called acting and dialect. What's the next comment of the week, Charlie?
Next comment of the week. This is in response to Labour wanting to have a UK Silicon Valley. Oh, yeah. This is Howard Parkin 7382 on YouTube. Of course it will not be another Silicon Valley. Not when there are no incentives to bring big money and innovation to the country. A train line alone is worthless. This isn't the Wild West. We aren't in the 1800s.
Oh, Howard.
Oh, well,
Howard, well, Kieran, you
Thank
took
you,
that
though,
same
Howard.
point of view, didn't you, as Howard? Like, this
I'm
is
with
so
Howard.
lame.
You can't just say we're gonna have a Silicon Valley and then there be a Silicon Valley. I lived there for years. There is a whole complex ecosystem, and it requires a lot of thought and a lot of the right people and a lot of investment. You can't just have a politician say it out loud and it magically happens.
Well, do you think a train line is at least better than a roundabout? Our last, the UK ambition to compete with Silicon Valley was to create a roundabout of innovation.
Kit, do you like the UK? Do you ever come here?
I have never been, but I will be. I think 2 or 3 times this year. So maybe we
Ooh, come and
good.
see us.
Come and see us in
We'd
Oxford.
love to see you.
Yeah, come and join us
Sure.
live on the show or just for a beer. It would be great to see you for the second time in a year. It's been lovely talking to you today. So we've run out of time. This whole episode we've devoted to KITBOGA, who's doing such fantastic work, a real champion of the stuff we're trying to do in defeating scams and abuse. Thank you for giving up some of your morning and your own work. We love what you're doing. We'll keep following you. And hey, let's keep swapping notes, because if you're franchising the KITBOGA, if you're getting assets and threat signals that would be useful for all of our community, public safety, law
Absolutely.
enforcement, and please keep in touch. We'll keep in touch with you. We'll keep pestering you. And if you could ask your 1 million fans to all subscribe to us as well, we'll then do likewise. Take care, Kit. Thank you.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Thanks, guys.